following the rules.
Take him down!
When you're outnumbered,
Get a drone in there.
fighting fair
Camel activated.
just isn't an option.
Watch out!
Ghost Recon Future Soldier.
So you've been playing Future Soldier.
I have, and it is a very, very good game. Really decent military shooter. It brings whole new tactical elements to the action, and it is just amazing, quite simply.
He likes it.
There's really not much more to say besides that. So
Okay, go by it. See you. Well, basically, it's Ghost Recon, and it's a strategic shooter.
Well, if you remember the old Ghost Recon games, you had this PC simulator, not very visually interesting. Actually, it looked pretty bad even at that time. And you had these giant 2D maps where you had to place your soldiers in strategic points and create kill zones. It was so boring for me. Ghost Recon Future Soldier is nothing like that. Nothing at all. You play as a team member of this tight team of 4 ghosts, and they go through these crazy missions throughout the whole world, and you know the action and the tactics and everything just works beautifully together.
But taking that you mentioned action, is it Call of Duty action or
No, I wouldn't say that. No, I wouldn't say that. Let me describe, a very specific part of the game. You are just outside this Nigerian refugee camp, and the women from the nearby village goes to the well and get water, and these separatists, these militia is controlling the area, and you have to go into the refugee camp where this local warlord is holding up because you need to get some information. So you actually have to sneak through these little tight spaces of these huts built out by rusty old parts of cars, and go through the civilians and shoot the militia, all silent and just very sneaky, kind of like a Splinter Cell Conviction kind of game to it.
When you describe this, it doesn't sound that much like a Future Soldier. I'm guessing there's something more to it, or the way you sneak is different.
It actually is. Throughout the game, you unlock more and more items who can help you sneak and be sneaky. When you lower down as a player, you activate this stealth mode, this fiber optic camouflage that makes you, seem transparent, so that you can
like a Predator.
Yeah, like in Predator or the invisible cloak in Harry Potter, something like that. And you sneak through these levels, and even if you know that there are combatants in the area ahead, you can send out this drone, this little AR drone that you can control manually and tag the enemies, just like in Splinter Cell Conviction. When you tag your enemies, your team of ghosts actually goes into position and take aim. So you can see your guys placing themselves on the battlefield, and you can then execute one order and they all go down simultaneously. That is just so sweet.
That's one thing you mentioned just before we started filming, that you basically love the artificial intelligence in this game.
Yeah, it's true. The animations are just so great. They're real soldiers who actually make these moves. And when you say there's an enemy, put your gun on him, they instantly know where to go. You don't have to, you never see your guys, going through a wall and just dancing on the spot. You always feel like actually they're real people, that knows what they do, that they're real professional, and it just makes you feel like such a badass Navy SEAL kind of soldier. You just know you have that team with you all the time.
So basically, you like the single player, and the artificial intelligence makes it feel like a multiplayer game.
It makes you feel like you're actually playing in co-op all the time. You whether you play with real people or with the artificial intelligence, it's just so good. Of course, you can play the game in co-op, both over Xbox Live and in split screen if you want to. So you have plenty of opportunity to do that. Just remember the headset. Are
you actually able to give commands on using the controller or something like that if you want to communicate between the different players, or is it just not a feasible way of doing
No,
it.
that's not the way of doing it. If you play co-op, you really need to have that voice control
Okay.
with other players. But in the single player game, you just have that tag system, and your guys always knows what to do. They never break cover, and they never get in the way. I want to shoot a guy over there, and if you were real life, you probably stand in front of me dancing around and doing something weird. These guys never do that. They just seem like real badass, cool soldiers.
And again, speaking of soldiers, I know you want to talk about weapons.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
We all saw that E3 thing with him going like.
You can do that if you have the Kinect accessory to your Xbox. You can actually, do that Minority Report thing. The gunsmith system, which was shown at E3.
And it's there even if you don't have Kinect.
Yeah.
It's there for
It's
PlayStation,
a
etc.
feature. It's a part of the game, and it's integrated really well. You go on a soldier on a mission. Say you go to Namibia in Africa, and you say, okay, you have these long lines of sight, so you probably need a weapon that can, have long range. So you have the opportunity to pick a rifle, and with a push of a button, or with the Kinect, you can fragment this gun in all these kinds of different parts, and you can say, okay, I want to have the optics. I want to change the optics, so I want more range. I want to have a grenade launcher attached to it, or I want even the trigger or the camouflage can be changed, and you can actually have the Danish camouflage put on your gun as well. So that's pretty cool.
You can guess he's from Denmark. Yeah.
Yeah, it's on all my guns. But that is really just a nice feature. And I have never seen a feature, not in any game, that has that kind of customizations, that has that unique feel that you can actually see the item. You can see the parts, and they're really recreated so beautiful. And the way that comes together, there's nothing like that system at all.
And you can create basically like a gazillion guns or
I don't know how many combinations there are, but it's a ton. And even the beautiful thing about this system is that even if you don't want to use hours and hours just to change the length of the barrel or the trigger or stuff like that, you can just use 4 presets where you can change whether you want power or range or maneuverability. So even if okay, I want a gun with that I can swing really fast and I can sprint with and so on, you just use the preset and it's done right for you.
Cool.
Very cool.
And you've got multiplayer.
Oh yeah. And the multiplayer, I don't even know where to begin. You have all these kinds of multiplayer options that even if you don't like the multiplayer segment of the game, you just have co-op and split screen and all that we just talked about. But the multiplayer segment is really worth playing. And it's worth playing because of the classes. You have these 3 unique classes in form of the engineer, the rifleman, and the scout, which is basically the sniper. And these classes have unique abilities attached to them. So the engineer is the only one who can throw a sensor grenade, so you can see the enemy of certain areas of the map and use the drone. And the scout has this camouflage that makes him go basically invisible on any kind of electronics being used on the map. So you really need to have a team, that has all these classes together, so you can work your way through the enemy. And then, of course, in this basic mode, of the multiplayer segment, where you have all these kinds of different objectives, you need to use different classes for each objective, like taking a bomb, defusing a bomb, or hacking the enemy's network, or stuff like that.
Have you got something like the ever so popular Horde mode or something like that in the game?
Actually, you do. What a surprise, right?
Yeah.
I mean, even if you are by yourself and the internet goes out the window, you have the opportunity to play with a friend in split screen and just play this guerrilla mode, as it's called, where you just hold down one spot and you have these different weapons. Of course, after each wave you earn different upgrades and you can choose new weapons and so forth. And by the way, in multiplayer you also earn new levels, so you can buy new attachments for your guns, new guns, and so forth. So it just really keeps you at the screen day by day, night by night. It's so good.
If we need to sum up anything like single player, multiplayer, what do you think?
I think that this game is unique in the way that it uses these tactical elements. I think there's nothing like this game because of the way they use these, you can use these tactics. In Call of Duty, in Battlefield, in all this generation of first-person shooters, you can play, basically how you like. But this game, really requires you to play in a different way, to play outside the box, outside what you normally think. And that's why this game is so amazing.
When you're outnumbered
Ambush! Get down!
and the most advanced arsenal is at your disposal, fighting fair
Sensor deployed.
just isn't an option.
Enemy location up an AR. It's a bomb. Clear.